The silence hit before the cold. No coffee brewing, no music, no distant murmurs of arguing about who gets the front seat. Just stillness, hollow and unnatural. Claire Evans blinked at the ceiling, then the clock. 9:12 a.m. Her alarm had been set for 5:30. She launched upright. The first thing she saw wasn't her suitcase. It was the absence of sound. No slamming car doors. No footsteps. No scent of her mom's cinnamon French toast. Her heart dropped like a stone. No, 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 she whispered. She bolted from bed barefoot, hair still tangled from the late night of wrapping, organizing, and color-coding itinerary folders. The hallway was empty. Her parents' bedroom, bed made, closet thinned out. Amanda's room, suitcase gone, dresser cleared. Kyle's, disaster zone per usual, but the essentials, gaming console, backpack, and charger, were nowhere in sight. Claire flew downstairs. Kitchen, chaotic, dirty breakfast plates in the sink, half a fruit platter on the counter. They had eaten, without her, and left. She flung open the front door. Her Honda Civic sat alone in the driveway like a dog that hadn't been picked for the walk. The other four vehicles, Mom's SUV, Amanda's Lexus, Kyle's truck, Dad's old Volvo, were gone. She stood frozen on the porch in her pajama bottoms, December wind biting her ankles. They left. She whispered it once, then again. They left. She ran back in, grabbed her phone. No missed calls, no texts. Just a notification from Delta about her unused frequent flyer points and a work email about January's first quarter strategy meeting. She called her mom. 4 rings. Then, "Claire, good morning, sweetheart." Margaret's voice was chipper. Too chipper. "Mom," Claire said, steadying her breath. "Where are you?" A pause. Chatter in the background. Christmas music. Kyle's laugh. The clink of coffee mugs. "I thought you were in Amanda's car," her mom said. "No," Claire said, colder now. "I'm home. You left me behind." Another pause. Muffled voices on the other end. "Oh, honey, there must have been some kind of miscommunication. We thought you were with Rachel and the cousins." "No one checked? Not even at breakfast? The head count I literally suggested last week?" Claire's voice cracked. Her hand trembled. "We were all rushing. You know how chaotic mornings like this can be. You didn't even knock on my door. Claire, don't do this. Just book a flight and meet us." The call dropped. Claire stared at the screen. She didn't cry. Not yet. She called Aunt Pam, one of the few who didn't join the trip because of her hip surgery. "Aunt Pam, please tell me you didn't know they were going to leave me." Another uncomfortable pause. "Oh, Claire, I thought it was a mistake. Amanda said you were in a separate car. I figured your mom—" "Look, honey, families are messy, especially during the holidays." "Did they talk about this with you?" Claire, I don't want to be in the middle." "I am in the middle." Claire ended the call before the apology could come. She sat at the kitchen table, laptop open, fingers cold. Instagram. Amanda had already posted stories, group selfies, a road trip playlist, a diner stop somewhere in Nebraska. Caption: "Almost the whole crew best Christmas ever." Almost. Claire opened Facebook. Cousin Rachel. "Operation Road Trip is a go." Operation? Her heart pounded. She scrolled faster. Comments from family. "Glad we pulled it off." "This year's gonna be peaceful." Claire's throat closed. Then her phone buzzed. A text from Amanda. "Oops, meant to send that screenshot to Kyle. Ignore." Attached, a screenshot from their group chat. One message circled. "He's really not here. OMG, our plan worked." He, not even she. Just a variable. A problem solved. Her hands shook. She put down the phone and stared at nothing. Claire pulled herself together just long enough to log into the family's shared cloud, the one she set up to organize trip itineraries and back up emergency documents. Amanda always hit sync all on her devices, even when she shouldn't. Claire hesitated, then opened the last synced backup. There they were. Group texts. Amanda. "Do we really have to bring Claire?" Kyle. "She's a buzzkill, always controlling everything." Mom. "She did book and pay for everything." Amanda again. "Exactly. Let her pay, then we just leave early." Claire's stomach turned. A vote. 3 for yes, 12 for no, 2 abstain. Her parents voted no. The so-called drama they referred to? Claire remembered now. Last Christmas, Mike joked for the 5th time about her being single. Claire had calmly asked him to stop. That was it. That was the incident. Claire sat back, numb. Then, anger. She opened a note app and made a list. Expenses she had paid, 3 years ago, $8,000 to cover parents' mortgage. New laptop for Kyle. Amanda's car repair. This trip, $15,500 on her credit card. Reimbursements received, 0.00. Validation received, less. She opened another tab. Booked a solo trip to Bali, departing in 48 hours. Then called the resort. This is Claire Evans. I need to cancel a reservation under my name. 6 cabins. May I ask why? The front desk agent asked kindly. Yes, Claire said calmly. My family excluded me from the trip I paid for. I won't be needing the reservation. Pause. I'm so sorry. Claire exhaled for the first time in hours. Just cancel it, and if they arrive anyway, feel free to let them find out the hard way. If you've ever been left out after doing everything for everyone else, type 1. You're not alone. As she packs her suitcase for Bali, Claire texts her sister 2 words, Merry Christmas. Then she begins listing everything they've ever owed her, because this time she's collecting. The Christmas morning sun crept over the snow-covered peaks of Colorado as the Morgan family pulled into the circular drive of Pinecrest Mountain Resort. Laughter echoed from the car speakers. Amanda snapped selfies while Kyle danced absurdly in the passenger seat. Their parents, Thomas and Margaret, followed close behind in the next vehicle. It was picturesque. Perfect. Until they reached the front desk. Reservation name? The concierge asked, smiling. Evans. Claire Evans, Amanda said brightly, fishing for her phone. She booked everything weeks ago. 6 cabins, the premium package. The clerk's smile dimmed. I'm sorry, he said, tapping his keyboard again. There's no active reservation under that name. In fact, it was canceled yesterday. Full refund issued. Thomas stepped forward. That can't be right. My daughter Claire made the arrangements. Yes, and she also canceled them. The clerk lowered his voice. Said the trip was no longer needed. Kyle let out a low whistle. No way. Amanda stared at her phone. She canceled it? She wouldn't dare, Margaret muttered. She'd never. Except she had. And they were standing in the elegant lodge lobby on Christmas Day with no place to stay. 2 hours earlier, Claire Evans was sipping strong black coffee at her kitchen counter, her luggage packed, her boarding pass for Bali printed and placed neatly in a leather folder. Security camera feeds streamed live to her phone. Front porch, back patio, living room. Every square inch of the house she owned. She hadn't slept much, but she didn't feel tired. She felt ready. Her inbox pinged. A message from Pinecrest Resort confirming the cancellation and the full $15,500 refund. She closed the tab and opened her spreadsheet titled Receipts, Emotional and Financial. Line 37, Christmas trip. Booked, canceled, refunded. Line 38, house locks changed, $420, paid. At 7:30 a.m., the locksmith had arrived, a silver-haired man named Frank with a toolbox and no judgment. Claire had stood in her hoodie and jeans, pointing out the doors. All 4, front, back, side, garage, she said. He nodded and got to work. Family issue? She hesitated. Let's say a boundary adjustment. Frank chuckled. Been married 42 years? My wife's family still makes me want to change the locks every other Thanksgiving. Claire laughed, and it startled her. The sound had been foreign in her mouth lately. By 9:30, the movers arrived. Derek and Justin, strong-armed and Christmas-weary. She instructed them to move only select items. Amanda's designer shoe racks. Kyle's gaming chair and entire console setup. Her parents' leather recliners and holiday decoration bins. All of it went into the garage. Neatly labeled boxes. Climate-controlled. Temporary. Claire had even wrapped the garage key in a ribbon. Placed it on top of the pile with a letter. As they finished, Justin raised an eyebrow. Holiday surprise? Of sorts, Claire said. It's time they saw what packing up feels like. Back in Colorado, panic spread fast. Amanda was on speakerphone with Claire. "What the hell did you do?" Claire stayed calm. "What I should have done years ago. You excluded me, Amanda. I just returned the favor. You stranded us. I refunded myself." "Claire," her father snapped from the background, "put your childish tantrum aside and fix this." Claire leaned against the counter. "This isn't a tantrum, it's a reaction to years of being treated like the family assistant and not the daughter," Kyle chimed in. "So you left us out in the cold to make a point?" "No," Claire replied. "You did that when you voted me out of a trip I paid for." Silence. Later that afternoon, she began the digital cleanup. First, all her financial accounts. She logged into the family's shared subscription services and removed her cards. No more free rides on Spotify, Netflix, or Amazon Prime. Then, changed the password on the family cloud storage. The same cloud where she'd found the text evidence of her exclusion. Then came the unpairing. Wi-Fi devices, Nest thermostat, security system, all tied to her accounts, all reset. This wasn't petty, this was boundaries. At work, things hadn't been better. The week before Christmas, Claire had watched her analytics presentation get presented. Without her. Trish, her co-worker, had swapped out Claire's name on the slides. Claire had said nothing, again. But now, she wasn't sure why. The next morning, she'd filed an anonymous report with HR, attaching timestamps, the original file, and Slack messages. A quiet message came back the next day. "Thank you, we're reviewing." That evening, her phone buzzed again, this time from Rachel, her cousin. "Claire, I'm sorry. I didn't know how far they'd take it. I should have said something." "You still can," Claire typed back. "Publicly. What do you want me to say? That you knew. That they left me on purpose. That they used me." Rachel didn't reply. Claire set down her phone. "If you've ever had to silently undo all the work you did for people who took you for granted, type 2. Sometimes closure isn't a conversation. It's a cancellation." Claire stood in the hallway, staring at the framed photo of her family's last Christmas together. She lifted it from the wall, turned it over, and scrawled 3 words across the back. "You'll feel this." Then she placed it face down on the table and walked out. Bali was calling. The first photo Claire Evans saw from Bali was posted by Amanda. A family picture, taken hastily in front of a snow-covered cabin, everyone bundled in jackets and scarves, grinning in awkward formation. Amanda's fiancé Ryan stood off to one side, arms crossed. Claire's parents looked stiff, uncharacteristically so. And Claire? Nowhere, not even mentioned in the caption. "Almost everyone made it," Amanda had written, followed by a snowflake emoji. Claire stared at it as she sipped iced tea from a seaside cafe, sun warming her skin. The contrast between the ocean breeze around her and the winter lies they stood in was jarring. Not missing, not delayed, not regretfully absent, just erased. And below the post, one comment chilled her more than the snow ever could. "Much calmer this year. Just saying." Later that night, she tapped into her home security app. 3 faces hovered at her front door. Her parents and Amanda, trying key after key. Amanda's voice carried through the camera. "This one doesn't work either. Did she change the locks?" "She couldn't possibly," her father muttered. "This is our home." Claire zoomed in, took a screenshot, and saved it in a new folder labeled Proof of Perspective. Then, as Amanda jiggled the garage door handle, Claire saw them finally notice the envelope taped to the handle. She watched in silence as they opened it and unfolded the letter she had written days earlier. The camera captured it all: confusion, denial, then shame. She didn't need to hear them. Their expressions told her enough. Back on Facebook, the comments on Amanda's post turned sour. Cousin Rachel commented, "Would have been nice if the person who organized and paid for the trip was there." Then came Kyle's update, a frustrated selfie in a motel room. "Merry Christmas from the Super 8. No snowmobiles, no fireplace, just a busted vending machine and a shared bathroom." The group chat, one she now had full access to, was imploding. Screenshots flew. Blame ricocheted from Amanda to Kyle to Thomas to Margaret. Kyle. You said she wouldn't do anything dramatic, Amanda. I didn't think she'd cancel it, Margaret. She warned us. We just didn't listen. Thomas. Where the hell are we supposed to stay now? Claire closed the thread and opened a message from someone unexpected. Ryan. Claire, I don't know what to say. I didn't realize they were capable of this. I thought it was a misunderstanding at first, but now, I don't know if I can be part of it anymore. The next morning, she sat with Dr. Hale, her therapist, on a video call from Bali. I feel vindicated, Claire admitted, but also strange. Like I finally pulled the pin on a grenade I've been holding for 10 years. Vindication and grief can coexist, Dr. Hale said gently. You've enforced a boundary that should have existed long ago. You're allowed to feel both relieved and heavy. Claire hesitated. They keep texting, calling, saying I'm blowing it out of proportion. Are you? Claire thought about it. No, I'm just not the version of myself they assumed I'd always be. The silent one. Exactly. This isn't revenge, Claire. This is reclamation. Back home, things got worse. Claire's cousin sent her another screenshot. A poll was circulating in the group chat. Should Claire be allowed to come next year? Yes, 3 votes. No, 11 votes undecided. 2. They were already planning the next exclusion, and yet, messages to Claire kept piling up. Her mother, we were wrong, but was this necessary? Her father, fix this before we're the ones who look bad. Amanda, if you want an apology, you could have just asked. Claire typed back, you erased me. I responded accordingly. Then she deleted Amanda's contact entirely. At the same time, her phone pinged with a Slack message from her boss, Jeremy. Hey Claire, small heads up. HR flagged an incident involving Trish. Something about duplicated reports? Claire didn't respond immediately. Instead, she scrolled through her own backup files, the original deck she built, time-stamped 3 days before the presentation. She had already submitted it quietly last week to HR, attaching screenshots of Trish asking her for help cleaning it up. She tapped out her reply. If needed, I have source files and Slack logs. Happy to provide. Appreciated, Jeremy replied. Also, congrats. The leadership team really liked your Q4 strategy. It wasn't loud praise, it was quiet acknowledgement, but for once, it was hers. If you've ever been made invisible in someone else's highlight reel, type 3, you deserve to be the main character in your own story, not edited out for someone else's comfort. Claire's flight home was in 4 days, and her phone just buzzed with a calendar invite from Amanda. Family meeting, January 3rd, Claire's house, 3 p.m. She hadn't sent it. They were coming. But this time, she held the keys. The moment Claire Evans walked into her own living room, it hit her. The air felt different, heavier, thicker. Her family was already there, waiting. She hadn't even crossed the threshold before Amanda started. Claire, this is ridiculous. You can't seriously believe that locking us out of the house and canceling the reservation was justified. Claire calmly removed her coat and shut the door behind her. We're not going to start with ridiculous. Let's start with true. Her father, Thomas, stood up from the couch, trying to reclaim his usual authoritative tone. This isn't how families handle disagreements. Families don't vote people out of Christmas, Claire replied, crossing her arms. But here we are. Margaret, her mother, sat hunched near the fireplace, wringing her hands. Amanda looked ready for a courtroom. Kyle sat quietly, eyes down. Ryan, Amanda's fiancé, was the only one who didn't look like he belonged in this ambush. Let's be clear, Claire continued, her voice unwavering. You planned to exclude me. You didn't forget. You didn't misunderstand. You orchestrated it, and you executed it. What you didn't expect was consequences. Amanda scoffed. You overreacted. A misunderstanding doesn't warrant eviction. Claire took out her phone, opened the voice memo app, and hit play. Amanda's voice filled the room. Just let her book everything and we'll leave before she wakes up. Claire makes everything about her feelings. This will be the most peaceful Christmas yet. Then Kyle. By the time she realizes we're gone, we'll be halfway to Colorado. Then silence. Ryan rubbed his jaw. I didn't know it was this explicit. No one expected you to, Claire said softly. But now you do. Margaret finally spoke. Claire, sweetheart, maybe we didn't handle it right, but you voted, Mom. That stopped her cold. I saw it. 12 no's, 3 yeses, 2 cowards, Claire continued. You didn't just ignore me, you dehumanized me. I became an obligation, a budget line, a nuisance. Kyle looked up. I'm sorry, I should have said something. You didn't deserve it. Claire nodded once. Thank you. Amanda folded her arms. And what now? You get your moment, your power trip? You want us to beg? No, Claire said. I want boundaries, real ones. She pulled out a printed document and handed it to Thomas. A lease? He said, eyes narrowing. Yes, you've lived here rent-free for 5 years. That ends February 1st. Market rate, or you move. Margaret's voice broke. You wouldn't do that to your own parents. I wouldn't have, Claire said. But I also wouldn't have expected them to betray me and still feel entitled to my house. Amanda laughed bitterly. Wow, this is who you really are. Claire locked eyes with her. This is who I've had to become. She turned to Ryan. You're quiet. He nodded. Because I'm disgusted. Honestly, if this is how your family treats someone who's done everything for you, I don't know what that means for my future here. Amanda's eyes widened. You're taking her side? There shouldn't be sides, Ryan said. But if there are, I'm standing on the side of the one who was wronged. Amanda blinked. For once, she didn't have a comeback. Claire walked to the table and opened her laptop. This house was left to me by Grandma. I've paid the mortgage, covered your debts, bought Kyle a laptop, paid for Amanda's car repair, and covered every single family trip, including the one you excluded me from. She turned the screen. An Excel spreadsheet with receipts, amounts, dates. 3 pages long. You kept track? Thomas asked, like the idea offended him. No, I started keeping track after you left me behind, because I finally realized I was financing a family that saw me as disposable. The room fell still. Margaret stood. We're sorry, Claire, truly. We lost perspective. Claire softened just slightly. I appreciate that, but an apology isn't a reset button. There's rent to pay. There are debts to repay. And if we're rebuilding anything, it starts with truth, not guilt. Amanda crossed her arms. And if we refuse? Claire tilted her head. Then you leave. This isn't revenge, it's reality. She turned to Kyle. You're welcome to stay if you want to pay your share. I think we both need to learn what our relationship looks like without me playing fixer. Kyle nodded. I'd like that. Claire handed him a copy of the lease. Amanda scoffed again. Wow, you've become so corporate. Claire smiled without warmth. I've become clear. If you've ever had to rebuild your self-worth brick by brick, type 4, you're not alone, and you deserve to take your name back too. 3 weeks later, Claire hosted a small dinner. Kyle was there. So was Ryan, without Amanda, and as her mother helped with dishes, she said softly, You know, we never celebrated your promotion. You were the first one in this family to lead a campaign solo. I'm sorry we didn't see it sooner. Claire looked at her. Then, for the first time in years, she believed she might, but she'd still keep the spare key to herself, just in case.